since kind of the early 2000s, right? Um, Post 9/11, and as the world became increasingly more familiar with the Darfur crisis, I think that Sudan became kind of the Western face, if you will, of African chaos, corruption, child soldiers, genocide, all of the kind of familiar tropes that we on this call are familiar with, right? And I think that Sudan, in that way, in the kind of Western media imagination, is really emblematic, right? Obviously incorrectly, but emblematic of the continent as a whole, right? And so if I'm watching, the local 6 o'clock news or, the 6:30 evening news on any of the kind of major news outlets, right? If for the 90 seconds or 2 minutes of coverage that Africa receives, more times than not, it's going to be for, a conflict, a human rights abuse, something that's just not great news. And so I think that we've seen this in the Sudan since mid-April, right? There was, yes, lots of coverage, right? I would say between April 15th and maybe April 20th, right? Um, but as foreign governments started to evacuate their citizens, right, there was this concern voiced, right, that when those foreign nationals were evacuated, you know, basically foreign cameras would go to other news stories, and that the Sudanese who remain would be basically left alone, that the cameras would go away, and then the abuses would really become worse because the eyes of the world would no longer be on Khartoum, right? Um, and so my wife is a communication scholar, and so I'm also just like thinking about, yeah, just how central the importance of media is here, right? Media, and I mean, I don't have to tell you, Tatiana, right? How important that part is, but I think it is so important because it does shape how people think about entire countries, societies, religions, policy.